Minecraft has some really interesting features, but some of those features are absolute game changers. These are the sorts of updates that are introduced into the game, some of them big, some of them small, that made the game a totally different playing experience. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my selection. And remember, I love Redstone, so there's a bit of a bias here. Anyway, this video is going to be chronological and we're going to start from the beginning. Survival Test. This is the update that took Minecraft from being a simple block-based building game into what it is today, a survival experience where you have to gather up resources to build the cool things in your world. Infinite terrain generation. Originally, when the game was first in development, the world sizes were finite. There was only so far you could go before you hit a world border. Then in InfDev, that was all changed and the infinite terrain generation was introduced, giving us these endless Minecraft worlds that we have today. Brick pyramids. Originally a lot larger than this. Brick pyramids spawned in with a base of 64 by 64, so they were absolutely enormous, and they were the first naturally generating structure in Minecraft. Now the reason for them was because there was no way to get bricks in Minecraft, so that was intended to give you a good supply. It's so ridiculous. And sadly, they didn't stick around for very long. Anyway, the Nether. Didn't really have too much going on when it was first introduced, but it did give us the opportunity to travel quickly between locations. Because for every block travelled in the Nether, you travel 8 blocks in the overworld. Multiplayer servers. In Minecraft Alpha, the ability to play online was added, so you could play with your friends. Just about. I mean, it was a total buggy mess. It really was horrendous. Biomes were introduced. I know we take for granted the beautiful Minecraft scenery and variety that we have. Originally that wasn't the case. You would generate the world and it would either be a grassy world or it would be a snowy world, and it wouldn't change. Redstone dust and redstone torches. I genuinely had no idea it was introduced so early in Minecraft's development. It was added in Minecraft Alpha. Now there wasn't really too much for it to interact with, so for the most part people were just creating Boolean logic systems and messing about with latches. The ability to sneak. Another one that was introduced in Minecraft Alpha, and can you imagine playing without it? It would be a horrible, terrible, frustrating experience of just constant falling. Up next we've got beds. Introduced in Beta 1.2, originally all they did was allow you to pass through the night, which is cool, but nothing too groundbreaking. But then in Beta 1.6, they got the functionality of setting your spawn point, meaning that you could join a world, go on an exploration, find a place to set up camp, and stay there. Game changer. Smooth lighting. This may seem strange to those of you who haven't played Minecraft since the early days, but the original lighting engine was pants. I mean, look at it. It's really not pretty. When they added smooth lighting, it improved the game by about 300%. Bone meal. To some of you it may seem slightly insignificant, but you have to understand that this was the first steps that were taken towards automation and expediting farming in Minecraft. It's a pretty big deal. The server whitelist. Without this little command right here, I don't think servers like the Hermitcraft server could exist. It's an extremely important one, and it's a really small and simple one. Pistons. In Minecraft Beta 1.7, these little things were introduced after the community got very excited about a mod that introduced pistons. Now this was the first time in vanilla Minecraft that redstone components could actually alter the environment around them, and these little guys essentially started up the redstone community because suddenly there was a reason to build up complex circuits. Flint and steel for TNT. Another brilliant change in Beta 1.7, the fact that you needed a flint and steel or redstone power to ignite TNT. You could no longer ignite it through punching, which is great, because before then, you couldn't actually remove TNT. Once it was placed, it was going to explode. Even if you tried to break it, it would ignite and blow up. I am so glad that that is gone. Anyway, Beta 1.8 food system. For anyone who played Minecraft in the early days, you will remember this hotbar for when you were going into dungeons and things. No food stacked, and it was only used to replenish your health. In 1.8, we then got the food bar and a much more intelligent system. Sprinting. Before Beta 1.8, this is the speed that we traveled through our Minecraft worlds. And this is how far we jumped. Not exactly exciting, is it? Villages, strongholds, and mine shafts. These were the first large-scale naturally generating structures that were introduced into Minecraft, and they gave players a really good reason to explore. Huge update. Creative mode. Before it was introduced, you either had to mod or mine to do crazy things. Either way was a bit of a pain in the backside. Creative mode is fantastic. Leaving the betas behind now, we have got the first full release of Minecraft. Enchanting. Can you believe that at one point in time, this was the pinnacle of Minecraft mining speed? This is as fast as we could possibly go. I can't think of anything worse. The Ender Dragon. Very controversial upon release because to certain people in the community it gave an ending to a game that's charm came from the fact that it didn't have an ending. Front-facing camera. Up until Minecraft 1.0, the official release, this is the only third-person camera that we had. There was none of this action going on. I mean, can you imagine YouTube videos if they started off like this? Everyone just doing it looks a little bit rude. Animal breeding. The ability to breed two animals together and actually have animal farms in the game was, well, yeah, it was a total game changer. Before this, animals would spawn in, despawn, there was no real way to do anything with them. Potion brewing. Even though I'm not a massive potion user, I can't help but admit that they're a big deal. I mean, even just for fire resistance alone, the fact that you can sit in lava for 8 minutes without taking damage is worth something. Mob spawn eggs. Introduced in Minecraft 1.1, I'm honestly not sure what we did before we got spawn eggs. I mean, how did we spawn things in? What did we actually do? The super flat world. Another one from 1.1, the testing world was born. A world free of distractions so that you could just do things. With that said, the sandstone version wasn't introduced until Minecraft 1.4.2. The iron golem. And I mean it when I say this, I genuinely don't think Minecraft would be where it is today without this guy right here. You see, technical servers and people building ridiculous things need lots of iron, and these guys are normally the ones that provide it. Villager trading. Introduced in Minecraft 1.3, it was the first time that we'd had anything transactional happening in the game. Some would argue a fairly big departure over previous versions. Ender chests. Out of nowhere, right out of left field, Mojang drops this thing. A way for you to securely store your items, no one else can access them, and you can access them wherever you are in the world as long as you have an ender chest with you. I mean, it's a total game changer. Dispensers doing dispensary things. You see, I'm sure to a lot of you, dispensers doing this sort of stuff, totally reasonable. I mean, that's just what dispensers do. But that hasn't always been the case. In fact, dispensers used to behave like droppers until dispensers became dispensers, and then they had to introduce droppers afterwards because people were like, well, hey, you know, the old dispenser functionality was pretty useful too. What if I just want to dispense out a lava bucket without it going everywhere? Staying on the redstone front though, upside down slabs having redstone on top of them. It may seem fairly unexciting now, but at the time this completely revolutionized redstone, making a lot of circuits a lot smaller, faster, and just all round better. Being able to place any redstone component on top of a transparent block. The ability to cheat. Before Minecraft 1.3, this little dialogue down here, it was non-existent. It didn't exist. So for example, if you wanted to set the time, you couldn't. You had to get yourself a bed, you had to sleep in it, and that would allow the time to pass. There was no way to do simple commands in single player. On to Minecraft 1.4 now, and we have beacons. I mean, these have got to be in the top 10, don't they, in terms of Minecraft game changers. I mean, I remember when they were added, and we worked out that you could use Efficiency 5 and Haste 2 to get Instamine, and it was just like the whole community's minds just collectively blew up. The Wither and Wither Skeletons. The first Minecraft boss with actually a useful reward for going through the struggle of fighting it. It was also player respawnable, and it gave a motive to nether fortresses, which previously were just things that looked pretty. Anvils. As cool as enchanting was, it was totally luck based. There wasn't really too much skill to it, whereas anvils meant that you had to be strategic. You had to think things through, and it was a huge upgrade. Pick block. How on earth did I survive in Minecraft without this feature? I mean, goodness me. It's probably my most clicked button on my mouse, to be honest with you. The ability to sneak and place things on containers and stuff. I mean, we totally take it for granted now because it seems so simple, but this didn't used to be a thing. It used to be a right ordeal to be able to do that. You used to have to do this, place in some vines, and then you can place your button. A nightmare in survival mode. The command block. I don't actually think I have to say anything on this one. I mean, really. Like, what did map makers do before the command block existed? The game rule command. Another one that I can't imagine living without is this one. I mean, I have a lot of fire in my redstone contraptions. I build them a lot out of wool. Did they just used to catch fire? The O sound. In Minecraft 1.4, it was replaced with this. I mean, probably a little bit more realistic. You likely wouldn't go, oh, if you just jumped off a tree. You would just hear the sound of your knees being utterly destroyed. But still, I do think the old noise was a little bit more charming. The hopper. Moving into one of my favourite updates now, Minecraft 1.5, the redstone update. The hopper was a total game changer. I would argue it's in the top 3 biggest game changers in Minecraft because it was the first time that we were able to pick up items in Minecraft and transport them inside a component. AFK farming was finally possible. Anyway, next up, the redstone block. Equally exciting because it is the first movable power block that we had in Minecraft. Nothing else had come before it. Trap chests. In of themselves, not really that exciting, but when I realised that you could place them next to regular chests and they wouldn't interact with one another, they suddenly became very exciting because I could double the size of my storage systems in the same amount of space. The inventory overhaul. All this smart stuff with being able to hold down the right click button, being able to hold down the left click button, getting everything back into stacks, all of that was introduced in this update. Beforehand, there was a lot of this action going on. God, it's a nightmare. Redstone goes analog. You see, Minecraft 1.5, the redstone update, was a big deal because it was the first time that you had redstone components that could output something other than a 15 signal strength. For example, comparators came along and they gave variable outputs depending on the input. It made things very, very interesting. Without 1.5, technical Minecraft would not be where it is today. Cauldrons. In Minecraft 1.6, the update after the redstone update, there was a small upgrade made to cauldrons. It was very small in the patch notes. In fact, it went fairly unnoticed, but it was a huge deal. Cauldrons were able to give comparator outputs, and cauldrons are movable by pistons, which means that we have got a block that isn't a power block, but can give out power that is movable. Big, big, big deal. Changed a lot of stuff. Name tags. When they were introduced, I wasn't really that excited by them until I realized that if you rename something in your world, it will then never despawn. That means that players can store up mobs that will stay there forever, or even if you catch a rare mob, you can rename it and know that it's safe and will never disappear. Packed ice. I mean, sure, before it was introduced, we had regular ice and we could use that for ice water streams to transport items quickly, but there was one big problem. Ice melts. Packed ice doesn't. Upgrades to fishing. Fishing in Minecraft is fairly unexciting. I think Mojang knew this and tried to improve it in Minecraft 1.7 by adding rare things that you could catch, but instead accidentally created AFK fish farms, which have totally changed the game because you can get all the best enchanted books in one night. Slime blocks. When slime blocks were first added, they were cool, they were interesting, you could bounce entities around, but they weren't exactly game changing. Then the functionality to stick them together was introduced, and suddenly we had movable structures. That was a big deal. I tell you what else is a big deal. Depth Strider. I always forget how amazing Depth Strider is until I don't have Depth Strider on, and I remember how slow walking in water normally is. I would say Depth Strider makes the game about 35% better. Villagers harvesting crops. For the longest time, it was impossible for us to fully automate these farms. You had to go back, you had to replant them every time. It was awful. Until villagers came along, harvested everything, and automated the whole process. F3 and N. Introduced in Minecraft 1.9 and barely mentioned anywhere, F3 and N allows you to go between creative mode and spectator mode, something that I use probably about 100 times a day when working on redstone contraptions, especially if they're super compact. The Elite Trap. This is another one that I feel like I don't need to talk about. I mean, clearly this is a complete game changer, like totally game changing, although when it was first introduced, it wasn't as useful as it currently is. I'll get onto that. Dual wielding. Can you believe that this was controversial? Like, people kicked off about this when it was announced that it wasn't Minecrafty enough. I personally think it's the most Minecrafty thing ever, and it's brilliant. But I tell you what they kicked off about more, the combat changes. You can spam no more, and I mean, I've said this a bunch of times, and I kind of stand by it. I actually quite like the change. I think it makes sense that there would be some kind of cooldown instead of just being like this. But with that being said, not a PvP guy, so don't listen to me. They finally fixed boats. For the longest time, boats were a mess. They were totally awful. They would break all the time. There was just no using them, okay? You would have to have like an inventory full of them if you were going on an expedition. They finally fixed them. The mending enchantment. Look, there's been a few of these in the video. Do I need to say anything more? The mending enchantment is the single best enchantment in the game. If I don't have mending on a tool, then I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Minecraft 1.10. I tried to find a game changer, and nothing. Minecraft 1.11. Shulker boxes. I think it's safe to say that they made up for Minecraft 1.10 with the first introduction of Minecraft 1.11 being these little things. Storing items inside of a storage container that you can pick up and drop and dispense and carry with you. Nuts. Observers. Goodness me, this was a good update, wasn't it, for us redstone people? I mean, there are so many reasons why the Observer is one of the best blocks in the game. It's in everything. And it just gets better. Firework rockets. Now I should clarify, these weren't introduced in Minecraft 1.11, but they were given the functionality to propel you when flying with Elytra, which is just about the best thing ever. On to Minecraft 1.12 now, and we got concrete. Now this may not seem like much of a game changer until you realise how different concrete is from the rest of the blocks in Minecraft. They are very bright, very saturated, and their texture is almost completely flat. Added saved toolbars to the creative menu, and I think this might be in my top 10. I mean, the ability to just pull up a redstone toolbar and just have it there, everything that I need with the press of a button, and then say, for example, I need my coloured concretes, I can press other buttons. I mean, it's just... what did we do before this? And another one that I can't remember what we did before it, the crafting book. All I know is it involved going to a lot of Wikipedia pages to look up various crafting recipes. This is just, it's so much better, especially for people who are just starting out. Bubble elevators. This is the first Mojang supported item elevator in Minecraft. Before this came along, all of the previous ones relied on bugs and strange behaviour with items getting stuck inside of blocks and things, so it was a very welcome addition. The waterlogging of blocks. Not only does it make certain redstone contraptions and farms smaller because you don't have to have a block underneath water sources, but also it makes building things underwater actually look cool. In the past they really didn't. Complete villager trading overhaul. Minecraft 1.14 completely changed the way that villages and villagers work, and after adjusting to it, I really like it. There's so much to think about, there's lots of depth to it, there's all sorts of different variables that you have to concern yourself with, and it leads to a really interesting gameplay experience. Redstone can be placed on glass. Okay, so calling it a game changer might be a little bit far, but good grief, does it look cool. Raids. This is the first time that we've seen a horde-based challenge in Minecraft with levels and incrementing difficulty. Not necessarily a game changer in itself, but I imagine we're going to see more of this in the future. Crawling. I mean, come on now, how cool is this? Being able to crawl under things is a feature in Minecraft that I never thought I needed until they introduced it, and now I absolutely love it. The ability to dry sponges. As you may or may not know, I'm not the biggest fan of sponges. I just find it frustrating that you have to dry them out in a furnace. Well, they fixed that in Minecraft 1.15. In the first snapshot, you can now dry sponges in the nether. Mega. Huh. That's weird, we're on 74. I listed 75. I must have forgotten one. Oh, I think I might have forgotten one of the most important ones. Right, give me a second. I can't believe I forgot this. This is a really important one. Bats! How could I have forgotten bats? They're one of the biggest game changers in Minecraft. I mean, they make noise, they fly around, there's no way to get rid of them easily. They're really loud. There's no way to stop them spawning. They're great! Oh, fantastic! So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video of me talking through some of my favourite game-changing updates in Minecraft. Let me know down in the comment section if there's any game changers you personally think I should have featured. I'm sure you will have done that already. But anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya! Well, I gotta say, this is gonna be a fun one to edit. I mean, it was a very fun one to record. It was a fun concept to play with. I've really enjoyed writing out the ideas. My notebook is filled with game changers, with crosses through them, stars next to them, everything like that. It was cool. Editing, maybe not so cool. 160 clips. Oh,